Hi, this is Violet from Scrappy Mania, and today in my video I am going to convert these dies into a cut file. The reason why I want to convert these dies into a cut file is that yesterday I made these flowers and I just loving how they look. Look at these flowers, they're just gorgeous. These flowers were created using the Spellbinder layered colorful bloom. There's 23 dies and they're from the small die of the month. My sister and I have a membership with this club. We have the small die and the large die of the month, which we participate every month. And the good thing about this club is that sometimes, because when I did my subscription, it's after when they release what they're going to have that month, so I have a couple of days to make a decision if I want the die for that month or not, and I can easily go in my subscription and just stop the delivery of that particular month that I don't want, and then I can start it again, and basically it automatically starts again the next month unless you tell it that you don't want it. So we got this die and we just love it. Look at that. These are beautiful flowers. Even comes with a bud and leaves. They're just beautiful flowers. And they're perfect for your scraps. I went in my scrap bin, I grabbed a lot of scraps of paper and I just combined them. As you can see, I mixed patterns with solid. It was just very beautiful. This is what I end up using it for. I have a gift that I made, and I do have the video of the gift that's in here. It's a bracelet that I made for my secret sister for church, and I made the box. I don't have a video how to make the box, but it's pretty easy. I used the Crafter's Companion box maker, and and I used my sentiment just for you, and I put the flowers, and it just looks gorgeous. However, when I was doing the video, because I wanted to use up my scraps, I was constantly rolling it through the machine, and it was painful because I was using this Sidekick, and if I wanted multiple of one layer, I had to take it out, put in, and just keep rolling it. So it took a while for me to cut all these out. So then I decided, because I do love the flower, I think I'm going to reuse this over and over and over again, especially if I have a lot of scraps. I think what I'm going to do is just cut all those scraps into flowers and have them for my cards. I think this is going to be perfect. However, I don't want to be there cranking all these out each and every time. So I'm going to create a cut file. So the way to create a cut file, at least what I do, is I cut these out on white cardstock, and then I run it through my scan and cut. So let me cut these out on white cardstock. Actually, I'm going to try to put each of them together. So I'm going to create a group of cut files so that way I know what goes with each. I'm going to have to use this back piece to kind of figure out what is what. And then I'm going to just create cut files for each of these pieces, these layers, and then that's going to be one cut file. So let me go ahead and start cutting these out on white piece of cardstock. And you're probably asking, why white piece of cardstock? Because I'm going to use my scanning mat, and I put a black cardboard. I put a black cardstock so that way there's a high contrast with the white cut file. And then that way, or with a white die cut, so that way it will pick it up a lot easier on my scan and cut. So I shall be back. As you can see, I cut every single element out. So when I scan it, I'm going to scan each flower cluster. So this is one flower cluster. This is another one right here. And this is another cluster. So I want to keep them a little separate. And I'm going to create cut file for each of the clusters. I can always add that set when I'm creating my flowers, but I want to make sure that when I scan it, I create a cut file just with those. And I want to save them in separate files. So actually I can go ahead. And I'm going to put them all in the same mat because I'm going to do repeat scanning, and I'll take you over there in a second, of how I'm going to scan all of these to create different files. That's going to be one. By creating these groupings, then, you know, I can go in my scan and cut, group them within the software there, delete the grouping that I don't want to cut, and just keep the grouping that I want to keep, and then create multiple cuts with that. So here I made 5 groupings that are going to go together. So now that I have it all how I want it, so that's how I'm going to position, I'm going to go ahead and scan this into my scan and cut, and then do the edits within the machine. So I'm over here in my scan and cut. I already loaded the mats, and the next step will be to go ahead and scan it in. So I'll show you that in a moment. And right here, I'm going to select to scan to cut data, because that's what we want. I have it on black and white already, because that's a high contrast, which I have. And now I'm going to go ahead and hit start. You got to make sure you have enough room in the back, which I do. Can bring this over a little more. Okay. And I'm not going to unload my mat yet, because I may have to rescan it a couple of times in order to get the different individual pieces. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and select an outline. So I want outline. And then I'm going to go ahead and select this one first. So I'll bring this all the way here. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit preview. And I think that's going to work well, and I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to go ahead and save it. Okay. The next one, I'm going to go ahead and move this over here. And go ahead and hit preview. And it looks like it's going to be okay. I'm going to hit OK. Save it. Next one, I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to preview it. It looks like it's going to cut OK. And then save it. Next one, I'm going to go down. And that little one moved to the bottom. I'm going to preview it, see if it grabs it. It looks like it did. Hit OK. Save it. I always keep a USB attached to my machine. So I never take it off. I never take it out of my machine. It just stays on this one, and I have a different one for my other brother scan and cut. Looks like it found it. I'm going to hit OK and save. So now let's go ahead and preview it. I'm going to go back. I'm going to hit my home button here. Do you want to delete the patterns? Yes, because I saved it. And now I'm going to retrieve it. The problem with this, oh, it has an up. No, it doesn't have an up. My old scan and cut, you can go up. So, but when this one, if you have a lot of files, you're going to have to scroll to the bottom. Here's my first one. And let's preview it. It looks perfect. Okay, so that's my first one. Let's look at my second one. because if it didn't pick it up, I can rescan it. Looks good. Okay. Let's go retrieve the next one. Let's look at the leaf one. That one looks okay. And let's go ahead and look at this one. I might rescan it, so let me go ahead and go back to home. Let me reposition this last one because it fell, so hold on. So I'm rescanning it because what happened is some of the edges got smooth, so I was not getting those crisp, jagged edges. So I want to have it nice and crisp, and I think I'm just going to keep them all as one file. So I still want this, but I want to change it to be not smooth. I want it off because I really want the jagged edges. And let's preview it. And I'm just going to do them all together. So let's go ahead and look. It looks like it actually conforms to the shape. I like that. So I'm going to just keep it as one file. So then, now that I'm done, to retrieve it, I'm going to go to the last scan, and then I can easily retrieve it. And you can edit things. So let's say I can group them. So let's say this group of flowers. Let's go back. So let's say I just want these this two groups, or maybe I just want this group of flowers. Okay. So then I can go ahead and delete. Okay. Actually, I can group these and delete. Actually, I need to undo that. So I want this group of flowers. And I can delete those. So now I have these group of flowers, and then I can go ahead and go edit object. So let's say I want to make a lot of these. I can group them. And then edit. I can go ahead and group them. Then once they're grouped, I can go ahead and add 5 of them, and now I can move them around. Okay, that's one possibility. Okay, so let's ungroup them again. Let's go ahead, go back, ungroup. So once I have that many, so then I can start moving around. So let's say I want to make a lot of flowers. let's ungroup that one. Ungroup, ungroup, ungroup. And then I can position the different flowers, so I can move these. So if I have different colors on my mat, then I can make these one color, make these another color, and you get what I'm trying to do. So you can move them around, and then you can even group them. After you move them around, you can group a couple together and then multiply those until your pages fill. But that's the way I'm going to use this and edit it, so that I can cut multiple flowers with my ScanNCut. So I hope this was helpful, and I gave you some ideas when you have to do tons of flowers and you have one die, you can do, and you have a ScanNCut, you can scan it in your ScanNCut and use and have it all the die cutting for you. So thank you for watching. Bye now.